welcome to the Life Stripes Unplugged show. And I want to introduce you guys before we get started. So we do have Stacy Ann Buchanan. She is the creator of The Mystic Effect. She's a producer, a director, right? She's a writer. She's an advocate for mental health. She's also created the short film and the documentary, I should say, The Blind Stigma. So welcome to the show, Stacy.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Myrie.
And drop that TEDx speaker in there too.
There we go. Also next we have an actress, a producer, a co-writer of the screenplay A Little White Lie. And you can also find her on her very own podcast, Behind the Stage. Welcome to our show, Sheronna Osbourne. Welcome.
You're welcome.
Our next guest is an actress who has appeared in international commercials and series Hotel Paranormal. Please welcome Jessica Myrie. Our next guest is an actor, model, and he has graced the cover of McLean magazine. You can see him on the TV series Web is Lies. Please welcome Jonathan Grandchamp. And last but not least, our guest, actor, producer, director, and has appeared in many film, television, and theater shows. He's also the founder of and president of the award-winning Crossfield House Productions. Please welcome Mr. Troy Crossfield.
Where you at? Hey guys.
So guys, I want to really thank you for joining me today on this show of Life Stripes Unplugged, where we can really have a deep conversation about the acting journey, of course, the struggles, also the glories, and some things that you guys find that is very interesting. Even though we're in 2020 and we're going through a pandemic, what are some of the challenging things that you faced in your life as actors that were some barriers for you, and how did you guys overcome them?
I think sacrificing, doing it for me, I had to sacrifice going from working full-time to now working, just as I get booked and part-time. So I think it's a lot of sacrifice you have to make. There's a lot of times that I have to stay home and go over my lines rather than going out on a Saturday night or something. So there's a lot of discipline involved.
I think for me, I agree with Jessica in terms of the sacrifice for sure. My day job is also in the industry. I do costume buying for the film union. And so I'm thankful that I do have the flexibility in my days that way, but it definitely takes a lot of DIY with this industry and with your own career. So it's what I've learned, especially since producing work with Crossfield House Productions, is that I really had to take my career into my own hands, which was nerve-wracking. It took me a lot of years to build the confidence to call myself an actress out loud. And then I just said, well, if I'm not booking the things that I want to book, why not create those spaces for myself? And once I kind of got that mentality, I really became empowered to a point of now I feel like there's nothing that I can't do. It's hard. It doesn't make things any easier, but you feel a little bit more in control of your own career, which I think is super important as an artist, whether you're beginning or whether you're super established. I think the work that you put into it will really determine what you get out overall.
You said
I
something.
I can piggyback off what Sheronna said, because that is so true. A lot of the challenges that I faced in doing this was rejection. I don't think a lot of people know that being an actor, you're going to hear 99% no until you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to create my own space. I'm going to create my own, what I want to see out there, I'm going to create it for myself. And that's what I had to do. And it's hard work, but it's so fulfilling and it's amazing. And when you can still step into the industry and know that, okay, I can still book this role, or I can still work in the industry, but yet I can still go and create my own. That you feel it's like you're in control of your career destiny per se. So just to piggy off that, it's do not wait for someone. Please don't wait for that producer or that director don't put your career in the hands of a mere man. I was doing that for years until I'm like, you know what, no more. So yeah.
And I agree. I mean, it seems to be a common theme where, as you said, Sheronna, a lot of times they're acting, but they're afraid to call themselves an actor or an actress, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, you've pounded the pavement, and I'm sure we've all done that when we've heard a lot of no's, and we've looked at casting calls, and we've looked at people who are, let's face it, they're not us, right? And you'll be in that casting call, and you're like, okay, well, what are the chances that I'm going to get it? So I love the fact that you guys are saying that you're taking your own destiny, and you're creating your own content. That is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, for sure. Troy, how do you feel about that?
Man, I feel 100% the same as other counterparts on this call, man. Just this whole journey, from the beginning, realizing I was a creative at a young age, and talking to others who were doing this as well too in the industry, like, yo, bro, like, we have to create our own spaces, and I'm saying, create other, not just opportunities for ourselves, but for people that look like us. I'm saying, number one, we're in Canada, so there is no Black television show, there's like Digstown and like a couple other things happening, but there's not really a show that really reflects us on television here. So we already have that counted against us. You know what I'm saying? So it's either one, you move to the US, which is what we've actually both done before, been in the US a lot. And you know what I mean? And also, or you're creating your own work. So when we do that, we're creating opportunities for ourselves and for others. So yeah, man, I love this thing that we do, and I love everything that we create, and I love the fact of ownership, man, because at the end of the day, nobody can tell you to stop, or nobody can say, you know what, I'm done and I'm just gonna move on, like, because it's really like, it's our thing, and it's really important.
You own it. It's yours.
To us. Like, we see Tyler Perry do it, we see so many greats do it, man. They have to own their thing first and get it popping. And now look, he's putting people on TV, he's hiring people, you know what I'm saying? And he's putting himself in. So that's what's important to us, man. That's the dream.
So let me ask you, and I know that you guys are doing that right now, but did you find it difficult to start it? Like, I know you have your production company, and you guys are partners, but how hard was that for you guys to start? And were you afraid when you started it? Did you think that, and to be honest, did you feel that you were going to be accepted? Did you feel that you were going to be accepted by your own race in what you were doing? And did you get any backlash from your own race?
Man. Wow. So starting is always hard because, like, it's something that you've never done before. I've had like the blessing of seeing others do it. Like, we've worked with Dwayne, we've worked with Nicole, and like, we've worked with so many others, and that's how I met like you and other people and stuff like that. And it was just always something in my mind. I was like, yo, I'm seeing Darren and all them do it. And I'm like, I've always had like scripts in my mind and stuff like that. And it's just like, I really just sat down to myself and I said, how hard could this really be? You know what I'm saying? And as soon as like, I had like friends like Sheronna, who was like, always like, yo, man, let's do, like, always asking about the acting stuff like that. And like other people around me, I was like, yo, like, I just like wrote this little script. I want to just come and read it for me. And like, it's like, yo, like, then it just became that little engine that could, It
really started as friends that came to a friend's assistance in terms of, oh, you have your script? Sure, I'll read it. And then it just turned into, oh, we can actually do this. Let's, put our coins together and let's produce this. And one thing that we say at CHP all the time is that we're very much still in the infancy, and it's like, a lot of times what we know with other creatives and stuff, we can all, attest to the fact that it's hard when you don't know where the money's coming from.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of your ideas stay in your head and they never get produced because you're waiting, like Stacy Ann said, you know, you're waiting for that producer or director to say, hey, let me take this, let me put some money behind this. And we just promised ourselves at a very early stage that we're not going to wait on other people's money and resources. We can't. So if we can only afford the 100-seater theater, that's what we're going to do. If we can only afford to supply food for actors, you know, that's what we're going to have to do. You know what I mean? And just that transparency of like, yo, guys, we're just starting and we really believe in this, but just like stick around, you know, because this is not no play thing, like, you know, and then just by God's grace, like things just start to move and build. And it's just now that we are getting attached to resources and other funding and all that type of stuff. But we're just like, yo, we've seen people stop because they didn't have money behind their thing. So it's really important to just decide that no matter what, like you're not going to stop. If this you're going to find a way.
And the only pushback that, like, you know, the only pushback that I was having in my mind was just, it was just in my mind. You know, like the worst hater is the one that lives in your head.
Absolutely.
Telling you that you can't do this. You can't. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what are people gonna think about this script? And oh my gosh, like maybe it's not gonna make sense to them. But like, I'm sure all of us on this call can agree that like there are some Oscar award-winning movies that we would never watch in our whole life or wonder what the hell was that.
Why did it even get nominated? You're asking yourself.
But
Exactly.
it's somebody.
It was somebody's thing.
Yeah. It was bound to somebody.
It was somebody's thing.
So let me ask you that. I gotta jump over to my younger predecessors here, my younger actors. I know Jessica, you're new in the game, and then I know Jonathan, you've been in the game for about 8 years, I believe. As both an actor as a model. What are some of your struggles that you've seen, and what are some of the things that you've faced that you want to see changed, or maybe you want to start with yourself?
Well, like, I mean, everyone actually hit some really major points. Even like when I first started out, because I started out with modeling first, and I even went to some castings for commercials and everything. And I guess like from what Ms. Buchanan said before as well too, is just in terms of just the rejection was pretty intense at the beginning as well. And for me, it's like, it's a space I was way out of my comfort zone, which is one of the reasons why I actually got involved as well too, just actually really be able to get my comfort zone, be able to actually be able to public speak more and stuff as well too. So I use it more of like a more so like a learning platform for myself. And over time, I realized that I should stop caring about whether or not I get rejected or accepted. It's more so about just coming in, doing the work, showcasing yourself, and then learning from that whether or not if you do get casted or not and stuff as well too. And I've seen a lot of actors and models who, once they get rejected and stuff, they feel down and then they end up quitting because they feel like, oh, you know, I don't have what it takes anymore. I'm not meant for this industry, so they just leave. When, you know, that next casting they could have got could have been the one for them, right? But because they gave up so early, it's just like, okay. And I see acting and like just within the industry, I find it more so like basically you're your own entrepreneur. You treat it as a business. You are the product that is selling pretty much. And the way that you train yourself, how you carry yourself in the studio or in castings and stuff like that, really pretty much showcases exactly what type of person you are on set and stuff as well too. And for me, that's why I figured out is like, if I'm able to showcase my talents, my skills and stuff like that, eventually I will get the role that is meant for me, or I'll eventually create the role that is meant for me as well too. Like when writers or producers are looking at a certain film that they're actually working on, if they don't have a character, but then somehow you as an actor, you know, provide yourself as someone different, they might actually just write someone for you just because of the fact that they like your personality, they like your character, they like what you bring to the table, right? And so they are willing to really meet you halfway as long as you are willing to actually put yourself out there and stuff as well too. So those are some things I actually learned over time and that I'm actually really working on building even more too as an actor.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, it was also rejection, but then I took a step back and I evaluated the situation because it didn't make sense why I wasn't getting booked and I was going on the amount of auditions that I was going on. So I think with me, I'm the type of person I always try to look at the situation. What can I do to correct it? So recently, I looked into doing acting classes and see if that can help, and also getting into more short films and seeing if I can get more experience that way, because I've done a lot of commercials. Now I want to branch into more TV and film. And I think because I don't have enough of that on my resume and I don't have enough experience as well, that's something that can help me. Another thing that does bother me though, and like what you had mentioned with creating your own content, I feel like it's so necessary, especially in the Black community, because a lot of bigger roles, I find they fall into the stereotype. And that's why I applaud Tyler Perry, because of, him creating the productions for us. So we're not always being casted in those roles as a drug dealer or a prostitute or something. Because when you look at the role, like at least when I've done my research, the big roles that are played by big actors and they're award winning, it's usually those roles that they fall in. So I also feel it's like our responsibility to also create our own content so we're looked upon in a different light.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Sure.
You touched on something there that I want to ask you guys about, because when I started acting, I was fortunate, and I don't know if it's fortunate, but I call it fortunate, to get into ACTRA, get into the union very quickly. But what I found when I got into the union really quickly was I wasn't able to do a lot of non-union work. And that's where you really get your experience. So what did you guys' take on that? Is it a good thing for you to get into the union, or should you kind of hold off and try to gain as much experience as you can in the independent realm?
For me, it was, I was in the union as well. And some BS happened, and pretty much like years went by and they didn't pay my union dues and they kicked me out.
Right.
But when I was in the union for a few minutes, I wasn't really getting the auditions that, like, I was going in a room with a room full of white people. You know what I'm saying? Like, the roles weren't really like, there was nothing really for me to be applying for at the time. You know what I mean? That was a different time because they have all these things and stuff like that. But like, I was recommended to be like, yo, do you want to be union right now, or do you want to stay non-union and build up your team, build up who you are as an actor so that they can find you? Right. So for me, it's still like a half and half thing. I know the importance of being union, and there's more opportunities at the union door, but I also know the reality of like there's more like non-union work right now. Right. You know what I mean? So there's limitations on both sides. So it's hard for me to answer that question fairly, but like right now, non-union, being able to do our own thing is like super dope. But I know you can also be union and do your own thing as well too. There's just more rules and stuff like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm a little bit half and half. I'm pro-union in the sense where, as an actor, you're self-employed, right? So what I love about the union is that I get my benefits from that. And I'm very much, I am going to go through the list of what ACTRA offers, and I'm going to use all of that up. I'm not wasting my money on nothing. I was with the union since 2005, and it took me till 2017 to realize that they cover therapy. Did you guys know that?
Wow.
Once I learned that, it's like game over, right? I knew my dental, I knew prescriptions and stuff like that. But once I knew that, I'm taking advantage of everything pro-union. The good thing about when you want to do your own stuff, because I have friends in the industry, we can come together, we can work around it. Now, you have some people that may be like a little, I wouldn't say catty, but I remember when I did my documentary, ACTRA actually contacted me saying they heard I did something and I'm union. I'm like, it's a documentary and it's not fictional, it's real. But I cover my bases, but I make sure that be a content creator and create with other people too that are in the union. If it's non-union, I don't mind reaching out to ACTRA and say, hey, I'm about to do this, or whatever the case is. But I'm pro-union for the fact that being self-employed, there's a lot of benefits that ACTRA will cover. And I'm for that. I will sign up for their meetings. I will find out what's happening and have friends in places that will just tell me the ins and out, because there are a lot of things that's not read out to you out loud, and you have to do your research. So for that sole purpose and that sole reason, that is why I'm with the union. But yeah.
Yeah, same thing with me. I'm half and half as well. I'm currently non-union. So of course, you know, there's the flexibility, but I also understand that, you know, in order to play a bigger game, being union becomes more important, of course. Yeah, and I'm kind of just in a place where, like, if I did become union, like I think I'm probably maybe like one credit away from becoming union. And if the opportunity came, I probably would go, just because I feel like I've been kind of in this circulation for some years now. And I want to be able to level up, but I also don't want to have to stop or hide, you know, that I'm producing my own work either, because that's not gonna stop either.
Exactly, and you won't have to, especially when you're working, especially when you're the creator of that too. You know, you're doing your
That's
own
good
thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there's so many fine line and fine print that we don't know about, and it was good for me to talk to these white people and get the ins and outs for real, because that's I'm in it and I don't even know what's happening. I'm paying this money, and like let me know where my money's going to.
Absolutely.
And so yeah.
So, and I'll ask you this, Troy, because I know that you're wearing a lot of hats. You both are wearing a lot of hats, and you both do auditions. You've seen probably a lot of actors come through to audition for you. What are some of the things that you guys look for with actors?
Talent is always top of our list.
For sure.
But right beside talent is like personality and attitude, man. Because to be honest with you, like, just for example, Denzel could walk through the door and have like the shittiest attitude on earth, man. And it doesn't matter that you're Denzel. It's like, we're not willing to deal with this person's character. We want to deal with the character that's in the script. You know what I mean? That should be enough. But there's so many people that don't understand about, and we've just had this conversation just about modesty. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, having a great attitude, being a people person, being a selfless person, like those things are like really top of our list, because like what we do is not easy on our own, right? So we want people to like kind of have a like mindset to us, so that when the big opportunities come, I can say, you know what, let's get so and so, because you know what, he's not an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, easy to work with.
Because when the floor needed sweeping, he picked up the broom too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, yes, you know, talent, of course, but we have experience where from our first show, from all of our shows as theater shows have all had brand new people in them who have never acted, who have thought about it, who maybe it was their first time picking up a script for some of the actors. And they blew it out of the park because they were willing and they were open and they were willing to learn and be trained, and they were flexible in rehearsals. And one thing with Troy and I is like, we're never going to ask anything that we don't do, you know, or what we're not willing to do. And I think that's very important. And the people that we admire in the industry, the Lena Waiths and the Issa Raes and stuff, like they'll all say the same thing, you know, chemistry. And Stacy, and you know, because I've seen you on set a bunch of times, you know, me working in costumes, you know, you're with these people 12 plus hours out of the day. So it's like, you need to like each other. And especially like in rehearsals for theater as well, it's like, if I'm gonna have you in my house and we're doing rehearsals and you're eating my food, like, you know what I mean? We gotta be able to vibe, and when work needs to be done, we work, and when it's playtime and celebration time, we do that too. So, you know, as far as what we look for when somebody comes into a room for auditions, that's a part of the package, you know, because I truly feel like anyone who has a willingness to learn can develop their acting skills.
Absolutely.
We're all still learning, like, you know.
Dude, I don't want to take over your show, but I want to ask you guys something, Troy and Sheronna. Have you ever had somebody come into your audition and their audition wasn't up to par, but you see something in them. You see it. And then you end up bringing that out of them. Like you see it in them. And it's just like, there's a talent that they have there, but they're kind of holding back.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny because Troy does ISI, Iron Sharpens Iron, monthly sort of meeting for creatives and stuff. And I guess 2 years ago, this girl came in and she just was like, you know, I came to this meeting, I heard about it on Instagram, I knew you guys were actors and I just wanted to come and see Wagwan. And both me and him looked at each other and we knew we were casting somebody in our head. And we looked at each other and we're like, yeah, that's NECA. And she became a part of all of our productions.
Wow.
You know, and that just blesses my heart because I love that. Because us, as we say, us, it's like we would want somebody to do that for us, want somebody to just give you the opportunity. Like, you don't know, we all have these seeds inside of us and sometimes it takes somebody to just pour a little water on it,
So what do you guys, and this goes to everybody, what do you guys feel or think it's going to take for us to get to a place where we have this together in not just content creation, but everything? Like, how can we get to that happy place where we're all banding together and building together? Because right now, Troy, you guys are doing a wonderful job. Your team, I see your teamwork. I've been to your play. It's amazing. Thank you for having me there. And Stacy, I see you doing wonderful things. Mystic Effects was a total success, and I heard that it's coming back 2021.
Was supposed to be this year, but like
2021.
Yeah.
Right.
But you know what? To answer your question, I think what we can all do is to continuously support each other.
Yes.
Like support. Even if you put it in your Insta story, like I'm always supporting.
Absolutely.
Troy and Sheronna. Like I love to see them. If you guys have anything, like I love to show that support. I bought tickets to you guys' show. I don't even make it, but I'm like I got my ticket, but I couldn't even make it last minute. So like I love supporting them, and I love supporting others. So it's just like if we could just support. That's it. And your support doesn't need to be like you got to go to the show. If you can't do it, if you can't afford it, that's fine. Put it in an Insta story, like it, send a friend it. Just show support. That's how we're going to really build each other up, really.
That's it. Yeah. There's no rocket science answer. That's it. Support is the biggest thing because we all know, word of mouth travels stronger than any other marketing.
Absolutely.
All that kind of stuff and we're hiring each other.
Exactly.
Putting each other in position, right? Like Jessica, you're an actress, Jonathan, it's like, if we have auditions, it's like, come, like, you know what I mean? Like that's how we're going to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
We putting each other in position,
Yeah, and exactly what Stacy and Sheronna says, putting each other in position and really knowing the power of supporting with dollars, like Black dollars. Like every other community doesn't have that struggle. Like it seems like we're the least to have that struggle because if, for example, Dre, who does his amazing singing shows, whatever, like he can't make it to our performance, but like I'll see his email come in, like, like Stacy said, like even though I can't even be there, I can still support you from afar. I don't have to be coming to your event physically to buy a ticket. And to give it away and to share something on Instagram and Facebook, like that's free. You know what I'm saying? And I know that like there's so much stuff that happened and sometimes we don't see things, but we're the first to like, when we see things, let's put that up. Let's put that on our page. Like we even have other people's films and stuff like that on our pages because like, you know what? If a few people see it because of us, like that's what we want to see happen. We want to see others win because we know, like, we know how important it is for us to win here. You know what I mean? There's a lot at stake and nothing's happening. You know what I'm saying? So if one gets through, like I pray to God that one gets through, that we'll be able to just like be like, yes,
bust
like,
down the door.
down the door. You know what I mean? We here,
Yes.
Go, Jessica. What do you guys feel?
I think you guys are right. I agree with everything that you're saying. We need to start working more together. Like even the other day, Jonathan and I were talking about, creating content together. So I think if more of us come together and say like, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to make something and make it happen and get it out there so people can see it. And, you know, people like to do what others are doing. So if more people are doing that, more people may come together. I think it's a very small knit community, like in Toronto at least, and especially the Black community within this industry. I just don't think we're coming together as much as we could, because then, you know, more people will see our faces and we'll be stronger that way. Like, you know, that's how you do it. It's not a one-man team. You know, you can't be the actor and do the camera at the same time.
That's it. You got to wear many hats, especially when you're doing it as an independent, right? So.
Oh yeah, I guess, but you know what I mean.
No, I was gonna say, like, in today's society and stuff as well too, especially with regards to social media, it's a huge factor. A lot of people are looking at social media, using it every single day, and just one share, one like, one comment actually makes a huge difference. And being able to actually, you know, support one another, also inspire other people to actually do the same as well too. If you're seeing that, you know, your friends are doing something, like either they're starting a business or whatever, too, just being able to share, do something makes a huge difference. It creates more traffic towards their work. It creates more flow and stuff as well too. And being able to actually collaborate on certain things actually increases that exposure even more and stuff as well too. And that's something, like, especially within our community, that I feel like at times I feel like we're missing in some cases and stuff as well too. And it's like we really have to band together in order to actually make a space for us and be able to actually make our voices heard. And like it's very hard, right? Like, even then, for example, my acting coach, I'm pretty sure everyone kind of knows right now, like Samara Smallwood, recently got into she's part of the diversity channel and actor and stuff as well too. But being able to actually get more people of color in there and stuff as well too just allows us to have more of a space to actually be able to speak more and be able to actually really actually bring ourselves into the industry even more, create more spaces for us, create more diversity in that area as well too, right? And it's just like, it's all about collaboration, really, and that it makes a huge thing.
Awesome, guys. So before I let you guys go, I just want to ask you this: if you can give, and I'll start with you, Stacy, if you can give actors today a tip on what they could do to make their craft better, or for auditions, or even just picking up a camera, what would that be?
Honestly, just faith it till you make it. Faith it. Believe in yourself. It's having that confidence. Seriously, it's truly believing in yourself, believing in your work. And one of my acting teachers at Humber for film and television said this to me: when you do an audition, and I've stuck with this, go in like a ninja. You go in, you do it, you forget about it. Don't think about it. Oh my God, am I gonna get the role? Do I need to change my plans? Don't even think about it. Just in and out like a ninja, you're done. But just faith it till you make it. And another thing I want to add: write it down. The power of writing things down is you're taking an action of faith.
100%. I love it. Thank you, Troy. Training.
I would say, like, really, like, you know, it's really important, and it's something that I realized this year. Sheronna and I were like, we're doing acting classes together with Earl Manu, and it's just like, yo, like, there's a lot of stuff that I was putting my own muscle to, but I wasn't growing in. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when you're at the gym and you're just consistently doing a routine over and over and over again, versus you hiring a trainer to be like, yo, like, I can help you with these muscle groups and with your eating. Like, it's a huge difference. You know what I'm saying? So I'm already seeing the difference, and like, damn, like, I was missing out on so much stuff because, like, I didn't take that part seriously. So now I know why people, you know, like, if you ask like these actors, they'll be like, yo, make sure you're trained, because it's hella important. You know, you're talking as a character or whatever, and emotions doesn't take away from all of that. But like, actually getting somebody to show you more, to look deeper,
Powerful choices.
You know, powerful choices, making powerful choices. So yeah, agreeing what Stacy was saying, and just adding to the mix, like, really just like owning your craft and taking it seriously, because it's your business.
Yeah.
When you do your job, you have to train. You know what I'm saying? You have to know what you have to do. You can't just go sit on at the desk, you know, and just do people work. They gotta train you. So that's another thing I would like to.
Sheronna, any tips? Any tips for my young actors that are up and coming?
Like, kind of touching on what Troy said, take it seriously. Like, you need to be in it for the long haul. Like, you can't be doing it and then you have a rough, patch and not, things may not be working out for you. There's been times that I've considered quitting. I'm not even gonna lie. But then I think about it. Why did I do all this work? I've come this far. I can't give up. And you have to be willing to sacrifice a lot, like I said in the beginning. So it's like I'm in this for the long haul. Like, you might not see a break for 5, 10, 20 years. So you have to be willing to put in that work and have a plan that aligns with that goal. If you're not in it for the long haul, then I don't know, maybe you want to do something else, but you have to take it seriously. Anybody who's been doing this seriously or, is big in the industry, they didn't break out the first year unless, they had some huge luck. It normally took quite some time, but people don't see, the struggle and what you had to go through. They just see when, you win all the awards and you're on TV and you're doing all these big things. So it's like, you have to also fall in love with the process and the journey. And that's something that I've learned over the time. Like, I'm failing my way to success. And the things that I've learned are going to teach me now so I can be even a better actor. And there's a lot of things that I've learned as I've failed, and I'm glad that, like, I always see it like everything happens for a reason. So, if maybe you didn't get this audition, but what I learned from this audition, now I can take it to something I'm actually going to get before.
Yes. They say sometimes your failures could be your road to your success.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Just to piggyback on what everyone has said, there's a few things that come to mind when I think about this journey. One thing, speaking to what Stacy Ann said about the audition room, one of my acting coaches said something that always stuck with me, and he said, when you come into the room, always come from the point of, I have something to offer, versus I need something from you guys. You know what I mean? This is my take on what you've asked. Here it is. This is my offer to you, as opposed to that sort of desperation, because we all want the job, right? But when you go in with that desperation, people can feel that, they can sense that, your nerves get in the way, and it's just a mess. And I was recently watching the Michael Jordan documentary on Netflix, and he said something that really stuck with me. He was like, why would I worry about a shot I never took yet? You know what I mean? And that like really freed me, because it's like, we get so anxious as actors, right? Oh my God, did I do it right? Am I gonna do it right? Is this gonna be? So be in the moment, and celebrate where you are. As you said, fall in love with the journey and the process. That's so, so important. And just in regards to what Troy said about training, also fall in love with the industry. Understand what happens behind the camera. You know what I mean? Like, I've been, behind the camera for many, many years, and it's like, I'm an actress, yes, but I love the control that you have behind the camera. You know what I mean? Like, now when we watch movies, I'm the one who leaves the movie theater last, because I'm reading the credits, right? And just, if there's any other area that might interest you, lighting, sound, costume, whatever it is, it's like, learn that too, because you'll have more power as an artist when you really understand what's happening behind the scenes.
Awesome.
No, exactly. For me, like, I guess one of the things I actually would say is, like, step out and stand out. As an actor, it's really important to not just, like everyone say, don't be too anxious or nervous. Like, for example, I can speak from my own perspective. Like, when I first started out, I would get super nervous about castings and just like, oh my God, am I going to get my lines right? I'm like, did I stutter or anything like that? And now it's like, it's more so like, here I am. I take a look at what skills I've amassed over the years, what makes me so unique, and what makes me stand out from other actors, and what is it that I have to bring to the table? What is it that I offer? Whether it's languages or whether it's certain skills that I differentiate, learn to actually utilize those skills in the casting room. Like, for example, right now, because of this whole entire situation, I like one of the things I've actually been doing a lot is internally just looking at terms of like what kind of skills I've actually had over the years, and one of them is actually languages. So now I'm doing scripts and going over scripts in different languages, in Spanish and French and stuff as well too. So I'm just like, you know, this is what makes me unique and makes me different, because not a lot of actors per se would actually speak another language, but for me, I'm like, I love foreign films, I love foreign television series and stuff, and some of them are great. And I'm like, even if I would actually step into that field, I have the skills and background to actually back it up and stuff as well too. And one of the other things as well, like I always think about is, you know, less stress, stay blessed. Do not ever really overthink situations. Do not get stressed about situations. Just, you know, take it in with just strides, and just be happy that you got yourself into the room. So don't stress about it. Stay blessed. Like you are, things that keep coming for you every single day.
Thank you, Jonathan. I love it. I love it. Guys, I want to thank you. I'm so humbled and blessed to have such a great panel, to give me some knowledge, because I've learned a lot from you guys, and I'm sure the audience is going to learn a lot. For people who want to dive into the journey of acting or producing or directing or just anything in life, because these things all apply to whatever you want to do, right? And it's just really just staying focused and harnessing and sharpening your tools. So thank you for joining me on the Life Stripes Unplugged with Duke Robinson show. And that's all for now.